gentlemen, the President of America! President Camacho! Shut up! Sit your monkey ass down. Chill out.
Hey YouTube, I just wanted to do a quick video that proves absolutely 100% without a doubt at all that no NASA or any other international rocket is ever manned. They're all unmanned missions. They're all model rockets that shoot up and land in the ocean. That's why they're all launched over the ocean. And this video will prove that fact beyond the shadow of a doubt. It's time for criminal trials against these NASA people, and we have the absolute proof. And if you watch this video from beginning to end, you will see that absolute proof 100%. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that you can go to all my YouTube banned videos, nwotracker.com, nwotracker.com, and you can see all my banned videos to date. More videos will be banned shortly as we get closer to the collapse. The truth tellers are just going to be shut down. It's going to get very dangerous, and that's all there is to say about it. Okay, so here comes the absolute proof that no rockets ever are manned. It's physically impossible to man these rockets. So first off, what we're going to do is show the Saturn V liftoff. You can see here from this video that there's actually visible sound waves are actually visible. Right here you can see it. It's so loud. Okay. Pretty amazing. Then the second thing I want to bring your attention to is when you go through, how many decibels does it take to deafen someone? Okay, so just a little bit of a quick primer here before we get started. 60 decibels is conversation. It's probably what you're listening to this video at. The human hearing is able to listen at 60 decibels in perpetuity without any limitation, without causing any hearing loss. When you start to get up into hearing loss, it's 85 decibels for the average person, which is an idling bulldozer. It can damage hearing within 8 hours of listening to that. So in a full workday, which OSHA requires that employers provide hearing protection to staff that are exposed to 8 hours of decibels at this level. That's why OSHA does that. A loud personal music system would be about 100 decibels, which can damage your hearing, which listening to that at that level at just 15 minutes a day. Then you start getting into pretty quick permanent damaged hearing, permanent loss of hearing, which would be like 120 decibel clap of thunder, which I think we all can say is very loud. Then 130 decibel jackhammer. These are levels that will or can immediately damage unprotected hearing. That's why you never see anybody using a jackhammer without pretty substantial, very large ear muff style protection. Then a gunshot is only 140 decibels. Again, no one is ever shooting a gun like at a gun range or anything without ear protection. It can immediately damage your hearing. And then there's really nothing else louder than a gunshot, quite frankly, that occurs in nature. So the loudest thing is a rocket launch, which is multiples bigger. This is a logarithmic scale, which means that as you go up each decibel, the amount of energy in it is 10 times higher than the level below it. So you can see that a 220 decibel rocket launch is literally, and I'm getting this from NASA, their own sources, that it's loud enough to melt nearby concrete and set grass on fire a mile away and damage buildings and other structures. Okay, this is very important to understand that when you research the decibel thing on its own, you can see that 220 decibels is extraordinarily dangerous. And note that the best ear protection available, which are the ear muff style protection, only reduces decibel levels by about 40 decibels. So if in the example of a jackhammer, that would reduce the sound level to about 90 decibels, which again you can listen to for 8 hours a day without damaging your hearing, basically. So, this is very important to understand. And another quick anecdote that when people are watching the launches, they're kept at a minimum of 3 miles away. In the case of the Saturn rocket, the sound pressure was so strong that there were ceiling titles that started falling around Walter Cronkite, and who was a reporter for CBS News at the time. And, Cronkite said that he was overwhelmed by the power of the rocket, and his on-air description, he had yelled about the launch noise into the microphone. He said that our building's shaking here. It's shaking. It's terrific. The building's shaking. The blast window is shaking. We're holding it with our hands. Look at that rocket go into the clouds at 3,000 feet. You can see it. You can see it. The roar is terrific. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, this rocket is 220 decibels. Okay, the G-forces exerted on anybody that were in that rocket are 3+ Gs. Okay, and 220 decibels. Okay, the rocket is only 50 feet away from the where the rocket astronauts sit is only between 50 and 75 feet away from the rocket. So Walter Cronkite's experience was 3 miles away. So I just want to show people, before I even get into the meat of this thing, still just one other real life example. So there's plenty of video of people experiencing high G levels. And before we get into the hoaxery here, I just wanted to show people another real video of the real thing. This woman is undergoing 5 Gs of force, and so here we go. Let's check this out.
Legs, breath, pull back. On top, breathe. Out and in, crisper on the breast. Out and in, crisp. Keep the stick back. Out and in with the breast. Legs tight. Out and in quick. Okay, where are you from, ma'am?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, back off on your breathing a little bit. Don't tense up on it. Okay, start backing off on your legs for me.
Okay.
When you lose the lights, start your G-strain again. Okay, keep your eyes open. Your breasts need to be crisper. Out and in, remember the phonetic.
Okay, so here's what I wanted to point out about this woman. She's having a hard time breathing at 5 Gs. She's wearing a very specially designed outfit here that keeps blood flowing to the core of her body while she's undergoing these Gs. Okay? All right. So here we go. Here's the meat of the hoaxery. This is the absolute 100% proof that we're all being lied to, and that there is not one single manned mission that is involved with one of these rockets ever. Okay? 100% proof, trolls. And try to refute this. Try not to get your dumb little minds angry about it. Why don't you try to refute what I'm saying here? Why don't you try to do that? Because you're just going to keep getting banned from the channel, and you're going to get reported to YouTube for threatening and bullying. So try to just keep your little minds calm and refute what I'm talking about here, little trolleys. So here's the fake mission here. Just total nonsense. So these little clowns here are allegedly on the Discovery space shuttle. And the thing I just want to point out before we even get started here, and I can't believe they made these videos, honestly. I don't know if they're just mocking us. I just can't believe it. I can't believe they don't just bury these videos. Like, you could just find these videos. This idiot here, whatever one of the idiots this little liar actor or not is about to be launched into space, okay? With a 220 decibel rocket, and he or she, we'll just call it has a notepad with paper on it, okay? And this is going to be a very important piece of the evidence, on her knee. Okay, so it's not attached to anything. It's like literally on her knee. And then the second thing I'm going to point out about the 220 decibels I was talking about, these guys aren't wearing any ear protection. And this evidence will be shown when they take their astronaut little costume helmet, fake helmets that they bought at Walmart or whatever off. You'll see that they're not literally wearing any ear protection, even if they had the very little bit of ear protection that their little fake, costume hats that they're wearing that they got at Target. That even if that had any kind of ear protection, there's no way it would protect your hearing from any more than 40 decibels maximum. And in addition to that, the sound, because they're so close to it, would just vibrate through. The ear protection would do nothing. The vibrations to your eardrums would come through your body. It wouldn't even come through the air. It would be coming through your seat. It would be coming through the things that you're touching. It would just be coming into your head, impacting the bones, without even going through the air. So in any case, she's got the thing. And then the smoking gun about this thing, I just want to point out before we get started, is that this piece of paper, it's a loose piece of paper here. It's not even attached to the major part of the notebook. So you guys are going to have to watch this as we go through the launch. I'm trying to skip right to the... And there's more evidence,
and counting.
So they start going through the countdown. They put their little...
Here, let's go for ET, LH2, pressurization.
I think it starts at like 3 minutes.
Start. 12.
Here we go.
11. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. Days remaining start. 2. 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions.
So this little flappy piece of paper here is undergoing 3 to 5 Gs. Okay, so 3 to 5 times that of gravity. And it is just flopping around like you're driving around like you're in a little simulator, which is what this is. This is just a little Hollywood set simulator thing. Completely ridiculous. That has a little bit of a shake. Like there's probably guys outside of the stupid thing shaking it a little bit. Like they don't even shake it like nearly enough. So it's not even like a simulator that would actually, really vibrate. This thing is just shaking like a little bit. It's just some guy is probably outside of this stupid thing, like shaking the dumb thing.
Beyond.
And I don't know if I was clear on this, but this piece of paper would be pushed all the way back down to the ground. And by the way, they're going from 0 to 17,300 miles an hour, guys. 17,300 miles an hour. They're getting up from going at a standstill at the launch pad to literally 5 times the speed of a bullet within 4 minutes.
Just about fulfilling the flight of Discovery, the space shuttle begins the...
This idiot's got like pens in his, it's just such a joke. This is not a big deal. These people aren't even prepared. Like some of them have pens and some don't. They're wearing their Masonic orange color here. It's all orange for the Masons.
Turning back into orbit. Discovery...
Look at this piece of paper. It's not even moving now. The rocket hasn't stopped accelerating. It's still accelerating at 5 Gs, okay? This guy's lifting his hand around, moving his hands around. Everybody's moving around, and they're under 5 Gs, just like that woman.
Races towards space, a star-spangled start to Discovery's mission. Discovery's 3 liquid fuel main engines now throttle back to 67% of rated performance, reducing the stress on the shuttle as it breaks through the sound barrier.
Oh my God.
Discovery already 3.5 miles in altitude, 1.5 miles downrange, traveling almost 750 miles an hour.
Right.
Everything looking good on the bird.
Imagine if you were in a car and you were just accelerating that fast.
57 seconds into the flight. Engines beginning to rev up.
Look at this. Look at this.
Standing by, full the throttle up.
She's taking notes.
Steve Frick.
Look at this thing.
Discovery, Houston, go at throttle up.
Go at throttle up.
Another thing you can see that is a hoax is that like when you're in a moving vehicle, the light source, tends to move, around the car. I'm sure you've all have experienced this, like when you're in a car and you're driving around. And the sun doesn't do that at all because it's just artificial lighting here.
It's up only.
This isn't even
Throttle up
outside.
call acknowledged by Commander Steve Lindsay.
Discover Houston, it's expected data hits, it'll clear shortly.
Yeah, this was another key thing I wanted to point out. That, this thing has 220 decibels, and yet they're able to speak through the air into their microphone, and you can hear the actor perfectly, just like you can hear me, okay? So listen to this.
Go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up, sir.
That's him. That's the commander guy.
Up only.
Do you hear any
Go at
noise?
throttle up.
Here it is.
Roger, go at throttle up, sir. US up only.
His voice isn't vibrating.
At a K.
He's
Keep
not
the
having
stick
any
back.
problems breathing.
Stick back. Okay, let
He's
go
not
of the
having
stick.
any problems
Let go of the stick.
concentrating.
Stay tight.
This is what somebody looks
Okay,
like
give me your
after
light
they just
loss.
underwent
It was
that.
about
procedure.
65%.
Okay, and were you able to get any of that back when you started your full strain?
Yes.
How much?
Let's see, I got back to, I could fully see the green.
Okay, so you got all of it back?
Yeah, she's like breathing heavy. Nothing, no
The
problems
throttle
here.
up call
just
acknowledged by
stops.
Commander Steve Lindsay.
Discover Houston, it's expected data hits, it'll clear shortly.
Copy.
Lindsay joined on the flight deck by pilot Mark Kelly, 2,600 miles an hour.
Kelly liar.
Standing by for range, travel 47 seconds into the flight, 22 miles in altitude, 18 miles downrange, traveling 2,600 miles an hour.
So now they're going, after 46 seconds, 2,600 miles an hour. And this is what they experienced in this cockpit. I mean, seriously. have to
Standing
be
by
kidding
for
me.
solid
If any
rocket
of you
booster
believe this,
separation.
May God have mercy on your soul if you believe this. Again, no light changes here. This thing is going downrange. It's like 15
Solid
miles
rocket
of
booster
downrange.
separation confirmed. Guidance now converging.
There's no kind of
Discovery's
bump.
onboard computers commanding the main.
No kind of bump or anything from the rocket separating from the ship. They don't have any kind of just no problem. Those rockets just pop right off, I guess, and there's nothing shakes them at all.
Solid rocket booster separation confirmed. Guidance now
no problem.
converging. Discovery's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to swivel, aiming the shuttle for its precise target in space for main engine cutoff.
We should have a good forward leg now on S-bend.
Yeah,
And you sound good.
and I have trolls popping out of my butt. Do you believe that?
2 minutes, 35
And then here's
seconds into the flight,
the final
39
smoking
miles
gun
in
I just wanna
altitude
show you
for
guys.
Discovery, 49 miles
So they
downrange,
take their
traveling
little costumes
3,200
off.
miles
They
an
probably
hour.
have to return them to the costume store, so they got to take this part off and return it. So NASA gets their deposit
Discovery
back.
now flying on the singular power of its 3 liquid fuel main engines, those power plants draining a half a ton of fuel per second from the shuttle's fuel
Now
tank.
again, they're going from 3,500 miles an hour to 17,300 miles an hour, guys. These guys look like they're just free coasting here, no problem now. They still have another over 10,000 miles per hour to get up to within just 3 minutes.
In Maroon.
But they look like the school play is over with here, and it's time to celebrate.
That call from Capcom Steve Frick indicating, should we lose a main engine, we can make our transoceanic abort target at Maroon, Spain. But all 3 main engines are humming along with the auxiliary power units and the 3 power-producing fuel cells. Booster officer here in Mission Control confirms 3 good main engines. Discovery straight as an arrow, speeding toward a date with the
It's just a
International Space
perfect
Station on
mission.
Thursday. 3.5 minutes into the flight. Discovery now 53 miles in altitude, 100 miles downrange, speeding along at a clip of more than 4,000
They're just
miles
looking
an hour.
around. And here we go. Oh, high five! Yay! Yay! It's just like the Mars mission.
Discovery nearing
Yay!
the point of negative return where the shuttle
We
would be
did
too far
it!
downrange,
We're
too high in
heroes!
altitude to return to the launch site in the event of an engine failure.
Oh, we hope we don't have an engine failure. Dun dun dun!
Discovery Houston, negative return.
Copy, negative return.
4 minutes, 8 seconds into the flight, Discovery 61 miles in altitude, 150 miles downrange, 5,000 miles an hour is its speed.
That's amazing.
The Environmental Systems Officer reports a good flash evaporator system activated, providing cooling for Discovery's avionics until the time that we open the payload bay doors an hour and a half into the flight.
That's good.
Stone's accumulator, but it's
to gain more. Everything looking good for Discovery 6.
So again, you know, there's I think a better shot of this here. But you can see no ear protection. His ear is right here, guys. There is no ear protection whatsoever. No ear protection. Why do the spectators need to be between 3 and 6 and 8 miles away? 110 decibels at 3 miles away, 85 decibels at 6 miles away from this thing, and this guy is not wearing ear protection. Why don't you tell me that, you dummy trolls, you dummy dumbs?
Minutes, 11 seconds into the flight.
You food eaters.
Discovery Houston, single engine Istris 104.
The auxiliary power units and the fuel range.
Shutdown plan, your go for the plus X and go for the pitch maneuver.
All three engines. 7.5 minutes into the flight, Discovery's main engines soon will be throttled down to limit the stress on the shuttle and its 7 crew members to that of 3 times the
there was a lot of stress on these guys. They look super stressed. They're high-fiving each other. They have tons of stress. So I'm going to end it here. I'm just completely sick. I'm disgusted. I can't believe. I mean, I think the worst part about it is that anybody believes this stuff. Is definitely by far the worst part about this, is that anybody believes it. You know, and I might get on if the video gets popular and YouTube pushes it, like, you know, they make some sort of, you know, algorithm mistake that they have to jump on in and fix. You know, I might get 70% thumbs up or 68% thumbs up, but I mean, that means that 30-something% of the people that are clicking thumbs up, you know, believe the official story. Like, over 30% of the people believe this stuff. Like, are you ever going to wake up? Are you ever going to wake up? You've been lied to your whole life. I used to be a super NASA Sam fanboy. But you can wake up. I woke up. So, just disgust me. I really probably can't make too many more videos just because I'm so angry about it. But when I see a certain thing like this with the evidence, you know, with this notebook, I had to come out here and tell you guys. I just had to come out. You know, it's like, you know, I don't get to monetize any of the stuff. YouTube, their legal department is constantly hassling me about, you know, my YouTuber comments and stuff, and then people complain that I take the comments down. It's like 2% of the people ruin the comments for everybody. Like, we could all have a very calm, normal discourse about this stuff, but 2% of the people are insane, and they're threatening. I mean, it's like ridiculous. Like, why would you threaten somebody that's just, you know, pointing out proofs like this? Like, even if you're right, you would have to at least address the proofs that the person is pointing out that this thing is a phony fake show. You know, it's just incredible. So I'm kind of getting burned out on it. I don't know how many more of the videos I can even stand to make anymore. I think if people go through my back catalog, there's plenty of sufficient proof now to 100% prove my case. I don't think I need to do any more videos to like actually like prove it. Just go through my back catalog. Just start looking through it. I mean, some of those videos are like an hour long or whatever. I mean, you know, if you want to learn the truth, you got to go through that back catalog. You know, this includes the trolls and stuff. Like, even if you don't believe me, I think you have to go through my old content. And, you know, I actually try to leave the comments up as long as I can until we get into a situation that the Google guys are complaining to me about it. So that's it for now, and I hope you guys all have a good day. I don't mean to shout at, you know, the awake people. I'm sorry about that, you know. But the people that are still asleep, you know, if you're on the fence, that's fine. You know, just keep doing your research. I mean, I'm not yelling at you either. I'm yelling at the trolls that are like, they're so positive, and then all they do is get on and threaten and complain. You know, they don't look at the evidence. They're obviously not absorbing the evidence that's being presented to them. Like, I don't even think that they watch the whole videos. I think that they just watch 30 seconds of the video, and their cognitive dissonance kicks in, and then they write an angry comment or whatever about it. So, but I mean, if you look into this, it's just 100% crystal clear that it's just a phony fake show. So I don't know what else to say. It's a phony fake show. So everybody have a good day, and I wish everybody the best. I really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of America! President Camacho! Shut up! Sit your monkey ass down. Chill out.